I have not made nearly as much progress as I was hoping. Hey y'all, my name is Nat. I hope you're having a terrific day today, and for this video, we're going to be talking about the series I've been reading. Before we get into anything bookish, however, make sure to hit like and subscribe down below, as well as tell me in the comments what was the last series that you finished. So it has been a year since I did a compilation of videos, which I called my series of series. I will put a link to the playlist of those videos in the cards up above if you're interested. I'm basically using those videos as a jumping off point to look at the series that I have finished, the series I've started, the ones I haven't even touched. So starting out, one of those videos was series I wanted to prioritize. I think I listed about 9. I've started 2. To be fair, I did start the Winston Brothers series by Penny Reed, but I have also hit the 6th book out of 7.5. I say half because there's an extra novella at the end, which I'm definitely going to be reading, but I don't know if it really constitutes a full other book. So yes, I did start the series, and I've also made a fair bit of progress in it. That's a big plus for me. On the opposite side, I did start into the Say Everything series by Ronnie Lauren, but I have only read the first book, Yes and I Love You. I did recently buy the next 2 books, just haven't started them yet. However, I did say in my November TBR that there is a possibility I might pick the 2nd book up for the Final Book Support Club readathon this month. Not 100% sure on that. We shall see. Apart from those, the other series that I've recently started include the Bright Falls series by Ashley Heron Blake. I read the first book, Delilah Green Doesn't Care, and I am planning to pick up the 2nd, Astrid Parker Doesn't Fail. Thus far, I've heard positive things about the sequel, and I really enjoyed the first book, so here's hoping that maybe this video will kick me in the butt and I'll finally pick up the next, because honestly it's only 1 book. But to be fair, I'm probably gonna say that a good few times. I also started Stephen Fry's Great Mythology series. The first one is Mythos. I read this for my Greek retellings 5x5 and I really enjoyed it. I have the second one, Heroes. I have the second one, Heroes, and I know there's a 3rd called Troy, and I'm pretty sure there is going to be a 4th book also. Seeing as how I gave the first one 5 stars, I definitely need to be prioritizing continuing this series, but that's not happening. I just recently started Nomen Omen by Marco Bucci, and I am also hoping to continue and possibly finish this series for the Final Book Support Club readathon. I mean, they're graphic novels, they're pretty short, so that would be a really great one to finish out. I did really enjoy the first one, and I'm intrigued to see more of this world. I recently read and loved Kingdom of Souls by Rena Barron. I'm definitely excited to pick up the 2nd book, Reaper of Souls. The 3rd one comes out next year, so hopefully I will keep this train moving and knock this series out pretty quickly. I also just read None Shall Sleep by Ellie Marney, which is apparently going to have a sequel, Some Shall Break, and I believe it's following the same 2 characters in this one, possibly investigating some more crimes. I'm not really sure, but I am intrigued. And then also the Well Met series. I am actually currently up to date with this one. I have read all 3 books which are published at this time, but the 4th one is coming out here soon, and I am really excited for it. I don't know if that's going to be the last or if this is just going to keep on rolling. This is one of the rare instances where as I've continued on, my ratings have gone higher. So if it does continue, hopefully it'll keep that trend. This last little section is series that I've recently started, and I actually have the arcs of the 2nd book because apparently I have a lot of those. First up is the Brush with Love series by Maisie Eddings. I actually received an arc of every single book in this series, so that's kind of hilarious. The first is A Brush with Love, the 2nd was Lizzie Blake's Best Mistake, and I have a arc of the 3rd +1, which I should be reading around March next year in time for the publication day. I also started the new series by Abby Jimenez, which as far as I know is just called Part of Your World. The 2nd book is Yours Truly, and I think that one also might come out in April sometime. On a very different note, I started the Lake Witch series by Stephen Graham Jones, the first book being My Heart is a Chainsaw. I have a arc of the 2nd one, Don't Fear the Reaper. Honestly, I didn't know this was the sequel to My Heart is a Chainsaw when I first requested it on NetGalley. I only picked it up because of the musical reference title and Stephen Graham Jones, but apparently that worked out very well. And then finally is Love and Other Disasters by Anita Kelly. The next one is Something Wild and Wonderful powerful, I want to say, and I also have an arc of that one. Very excited to get into it because I really enjoyed Anita Kelly's character work in the first book. So that is all the series I've started recently. One thing I will say is at least some of them I've made a fair bit of progress in the series. This next little section is going to be the series that I've actually finished within the last year. That's awesome. Some of them I did mention in my series I want to continue video, so at least I made some progress there. First is the Hate You Give duology with Concrete Rose by Angie Thomas. This was the prequel to The Hate You Give, and I did read it. Really enjoyed it, not surprising at all. Then I continued the Good Girl's Guide to Murder series with Good Girl Bad Blood, which I loved just as much as the first book. Unfortunately, I did try and finish the series with As Good as Dead, but the third book just was not for me, and I ended up DNFing it. So technically speaking, I have finished the series. And then finally was the Modern Love series by 𝗖cie RH𝘁𝘁. Unfortunately, this is one of those cases where my enjoyment of the books did kind of go down as the series progressed, but across the board, I did enjoy the series on the whole, so I would recommend it, and thankfully I finished it out. Now the rest of these are just other series that I have completed but didn't talk about in that video. So first up was the Trouble with Hating You duology by 𝗖cznie RH𝘁𝗁. Enjoyed both of them well enough. Next, the Aunties duology by 𝗖cie RH𝘁𝘁. Honestly, this could have been a standalone and probably would have been better for it. These Violent Delights duology, which I'm so glad I finished. It was so freaking good. Now I just need to start into the companion series, which has recently started, Foul Lady Fortune, and that came out 2 months ago now, and I still haven't picked it up. I am so ashamed. On a different note, in regards to comics, I did finish the Spider-Gwen Ghost Spider run. To be fair, this is literally 2 volumes, so that wasn't a lot, but I finished it. And then these final 2 technically constitute finishing. In reality, it's more that I abandoned them after the first book, but the Ravens duology by Kaz Morgan and Danielle Page, and the Charlotte Holmes series by Brittany Cavallaro. While yes, I do still own these, I am planning to unhaul them. Now, I've talked about so many of these, which I still have a few books to go, and of course I want to finish them, but really the ones I'm truly prioritizing are these last little few. So first up is the last book in the 𝗖cznie RH𝘁𝘁𝗁 series, which is going to be A Hard Day for Hangover by Dorinda Jones. I am so excited for it. I cannot wait to get a final answer as to what happened in Sunshine's past. Also, we finally had that relationship reveal take place, and oh my god, that was so good. So good. Thankfully for me, this last book comes out in December. However, I only do my rereads in December, so I probably won't pick it up until January, unfortunately. This next one I'm hoping to finish here soon, actually, is the Bromance Book Club with the newest book, A Very Merry Bromance by Alyssa K. Adams. I know that this series is going to continue after A Very Merry Bromance, but it is actually going to be a full-out novelization of the book from the first, which we see excerpts of. It's a historical romance, and it's just not something I really want to read an entire novel of. I really enjoyed those excerpts with the first book because it sort of coincided with what was happening in the real couple's life, but I just don't care to read that whole other story. So with that, I am considering A Very Merry Bromance the final of this series. Another one that has a sequel coming out in December is the Truly Devious series. This is actually continuing on, and I love it. While the first 3 books in this series are companions and all follow the same mystery, this newest one will continue the trend of having a mystery in a single book, which is 9 Liars by Maureen Johnson. I'm really excited. I really enjoy the characters in this story, and I can't wait to see more of them. Same with 𝗖cznie RH𝘁𝘁𝘁𝘁𝘁. I'll probably have to pick that one up in January. And then finally is one that I can't believe I still haven't finished because it's such a petty excuse that I haven't picked up the last book. But The Dark is the Night series by Kelly York and Rowan Altwood. I read the first 2 books via my library, and then I read the 2 novellas as ebooks, which I purchased from Apple. However, the 3rd book I can only find through Amazon, and I don't want to give my money to Amazon if I can help it, so I haven't bought the 3rd book in order to finish the series. I honestly hadn't bought any of the books, but recently Robin at Robin Reads actually bought me the 2nd one for my birthday. Thank you, girl. You were so sweet. I can't believe you didn't have to do that, but you're the best. Since she's done that though, it's just reminded me that I need to finish this series. I'm so close. I literally have 1 more book, but I don't want to buy it myself from Amazon. If I can find it somewhere else, I'm gonna buy it there. I just haven't had any luck with that yet. Alright, so that is a catch-up of all the series I have been reading and prioritizing lately. I can't believe out of the 9 books I talked about in that video last year, I've only read 2 of them. Hopefully I'll make more progress this time around, and next November I will have a new round of my series of series videos for you, which maybe shows that I have completed all those books. Anyway, that is it for today, y'all. Thank you so much for coming to my channel. I really appreciate it. Make sure to hit like and subscribe down below. I have all my socials as well as a few ways you can support me linked in the description if you're interested. I come out with videos on Monday and Friday, but until then, I hope you continue to have a terrific day. Love you, bye!